Hey guys, what's going on? Today I wanted to go over a couple settings in Fortnite that are going to improve your system performance. There's a bunch that people already know about, but there's two main ones that I see a lot of people don't know about. So we're just going to get right into it and go over it. Again, I'm on an Xbox Series X. A lot of people have said that they've switched over and they get a little bit of input delay versus PC on it. I'm not getting any on mine. So could be because of these settings. I set these up before on my Xbox One and they helped tremendously on the last gen console as far as system performance. But these are universal. They'll work on anything on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox One S, and Xbox Series X. So we'll just get into it here. You're going to want to hit your three lines button, go over into your settings, which I think you all know how to get there already. First thing, and this isn't going to help with your performance, but I'll just go over it real quick. If you're on a next-gen console, you're going to want to turn your 120 FPS mode on. This is going to give you 120 frames per second versus the capped 60 frames per second, which is going to make your aiming and turning and everything way smoother on console. It's night and day difference when you turn this on. But you want to make sure that your display can actually display that, otherwise it's not going to work. Mine doesn't display 120 FPS at 4K on my screen, but it does support it at 1080p. So if that's your choice, I would go for 1080p at 120 FPS rather than 60 FPS at 4K. Again, it's going to make your gameplay much smoother. So moving on here, motion blur, you're going to want to turn this off. This is going to help system performance. Any of these settings in here that we go over, by having them off, they're going to improve because it's less system resources and less things running in the game by having these certain items on. And these are all items that you don't need to run. Most people don't need them. Some might, but for the most part, you will not need them. So motion blur, turn it off. This basically blurs your camera when you're turning to make things kind of smoother in games, but they actually end up obscuring your view when you turn. And if you're at 120 FPS, you're going to lose a lot of that choppiness anyways. So you're not going to want this on at all. I never even used it when I was on 60 FPS. Okay, going over here to the cogwheel. In the combat section, there's a couple things here to turn off. Hold to swap pickup. I would leave that off. Toggle targeting, I would leave that off. Auto pickup weapons, I leave this off. Again, if you have an open slot on your character where you're not carrying a weapon, this is going to be constantly running this program looking for a weapon on the ground to pick up. So again, more things that are off, better system performance. Preferred item slots, I leave this off as well. Again, it's another thing piggyback that's going to affect system performance, and it's just as easy to go in and adjust your weapons manually like we've all been doing since chapter 1 anyways. Auto sort consumables to right, I leave this off. Again, I move my stuff manually, and it's never hindered me. I've never gotten killed doing it. I usually, if I'm out in the open, I box up. You can do it in a bush, you can go in a building, something like that. These building settings, they are inconsequential here. Here's a new setting on here that's report performance status. I'm not sure if this is on all platforms or not, but it is on Xbox Series X. Turn it off. This is gonna basically what it does, it's recording performance stats to send to Epic to like help them debug and things like that. And you don't really need this on. And if you turn it on, like on mine, if I try to turn it on, it'll actually turn itself off. So hopefully that's already off on yours. Scrolling down here, replays, everybody should already know about this, but these use a ton of system resources. Leave them off. What they do is they record your gameplay so you can go back later and view it. Like say you want to know what you should have done differently in a fight, and if you do want to know that, you can turn it on if you're kind of critiquing yourself, but for most gameplay I would leave it off. It also, you can watch it if you like came across somebody that you suspected was using hacks, you can look at the gameplay footage and then go, oh, this person's hacking, which it's not. I don't know if that video actually gets sent when you report a hacker or not. But for the most part, if they're hacking and they're blatantly hacking, they're going to get caught anyways. So moving on here into the game UI, there are a couple settings in here you can leave off. This is a big one that one of the ones I was talking about that I feel like a lot of people don't know about, and it's pick up loot stream. So what this is on the right hand of your HUD when you're in game, it'll show a little like icon for like shotgun shells, and it'll say X2, like if you pick up 2 shotgun shells. It's the same thing for mats. If there's like 25 metal on the ground and you pick it up, it'll have a little thing that says times 25 metal. And it adds an entire element onto the HUD that if you remove this, it's going to improve your system performance. And you don't need it really. You already have your mats down here. You know how many you have because it tells you where they're at on the hub. If you go down to where your weapons inventory is and the slots, it shows you how much ammo you have in each gun. So that's really the only number that you need to know is you know, how much total you have to see if you have enough. So I would leave this off. Map and backpack keys, this is another one you can leave off unless you're playing a limited mode that requires it. But most of the time, if you're just playing normal matches, you're going to leave this off. I know back in Chapter 1, I think there was a limited mode that had to do with the getaway gang. And you got a map and keys and different things and had to do like a different quest in game. But unless you're playing something like that, leave it off. It's going to improve your system performance. Same thing with quest progress. Unless you're playing a creative game or something like that requires you to read information about your quest that you're progressing through, you're going to want to leave this off. And coming down here, also creative runtime performance stats. If you're not in creative and you don't want to know how things are running, leave this off. Going over here, keyboard and mouse. I play on controller, so this isn't going to really affect me. But I do have all the things off on here. Coming over to, these are just your controller settings. There's nothing really in here that's going to affect you too much. And I'll go over a different settings video later about my settings and what I use and why I use them, and also my keybinds. Audio settings. In here, there is one that's going to affect system performance a little bit, and that's subtitles. Even though this should default and turn off automatically, unless you're hearing impaired, then of course you might want to use this. But it should be turned off by default. But inside of the menu, you can also set some minimalistic settings as well to help with performance even when it's off. So what you want to do is go into this. Subtitles, of course, you're going to want them off, but you're going to want to set the text size extra small, the color white, the border none, and the background clear. And these are going to be the most minimalistic settings you can set for this, which is going to improve your performance. Backing out of there, let's see. Don't think there's anything else on this tab. There's nothing on this one. These are keyboard binds. Nothing on this. These are controller binds. Like I said, I'll do a video later about mine. In here on account and privacy, this is a big one, actually. If you go down here, and let's go past this one real quick. Player surveys, I would leave this off. That's not going to affect you too much because most of those are done like after the match commences. But to get to the big one down here, this is the show text chat. Okay, what this is on the left hand side of your screen while you're playing, there's a box that you can actually text chat other players. I know some of you might not have realized it, but it's there. And the reason why you didn't realize it is because most people are using a headset and a microphone. Okay, so this is a big one. This is an entire element on your screen devoted to text chat, running all the time. If you're using a headset and microphone, you don't need this. And I don't know anybody that types text chat back and forth, maybe if you're playing creative or something like that. But if you're not using it, by all means, turn it off. This is going to improve your performance like tenfold. Especially if you're on an old gen console. And going along with that, if we go up here to mature language filter, you're going to want to turn this off too, because this is a filter that's running on top of that text chat window that's checking to see if anybody's typing curse words into the text chat, because obviously it can't filter out stuff coming through your headset or your mic because it doesn't know. It's not that smart. So leave those things off. It's going to help you dramatically as far as system performance. And that's pretty much all I have today. So if this helps you out, give me a thumbs up, a like, follow me. I stream on Facebook. I try to stream daily. I stream Fortnite and various other games like Sea of Thieves and stuff like that. So peace.